But Linda, I think there are two things that we perhaps don't think of because we've talked about mentoring and residency programs and grow your own, and these are good solutions. I think we might overlook two. Number one is we're now having the conversation that the shortage problem isn't just a recruiting problem. And I
Right.
think we all tend to look at, oh, I've got to fill this bucket, so I just need to turn the faucet a little more open and my bucket will fill quicker. What we're asking folks to do is look at what's pouring at the bottom of your bucket, and that's the retention problem. And I think many of our locals are surprised when we can give them some data, not just about their shortage needs, but how their retention is such a significant part of those. And Desiree, I loved your data around that. So I think that's helpful in recognizing that it's not just about getting more people in, it's about keeping people in who are already there. What we know is the problem is not equitably distributed, and that's what my colleague in the suburban area was saying. All of a sudden, we're seeing gaps and shortages everywhere, but it is much more pronounced in our highly challenged, less resourced divisions. And I don't have as much data as Representative Santos. I was impressed with that. But let me give you two anecdotes and then talk a little bit about policy. I had the opportunity this summer to walk through a middle school with a principal in one of our more challenged urban settings. And one of the questions I always ask is, how are you doing on staffing? Are you ready? Are you ready for the year? And he was so excited. He said, oh, we've had a great year. We have had a great year. He said, I had 27 openings and I've filled all 27. And I said, well, that is great. How many teachers do you have? And he said, 50.
Wow.
He was excited because he'd filled 27 openings, but literally half his staff turned over. And I said, was this kind of a year that was exceptional? And he said, oh, no, this is every year. This is just the first year we've filled them all. Then I went to another smaller urban setting that is one of our most challenged places. If you were a sixth grader in Petersburg City Schools last year, at no point did you have a licensed math teacher provide instruction to your children. Not a single day. So when we say this is the next big thing, we know from research that if we're looking at school impacts on student learning, the teacher is clearly the key, and we are unable to provide highly qualified, highly talented teachers to all of our kids. So it is the next big thing, is the looming crisis of teacher shortages. And I use that word purposefully. I was speaking with a well-resourced suburban superintendent a few days ago, and he said, teacher shortages used to be a problem because they happen to other people.
Yeah.
Now they're a crisis because they're happening to me. And I think he's exactly right, because what he was saying was, for many years, we had gaps and shortages in some places in Virginia. Today, I can tell you we have gaps and shortages in every place in Virginia. We do a survey each October simply asking local divisions, there are 132 school divisions in Virginia, and we say, how many funded positions do you have that are unfilled as of this time? Last October, there were 1,000 in Virginia, which means there were 1,000 long-term substitutes serving in classrooms, teaching children. What we know is the problem is not equitably distributed, and that's what my colleague in the suburban area was saying. All of a sudden, we're seeing gaps and shortages everywhere, but it is much more pronounced in our highly challenged, less resourced divisions.